Hi, Michelle. It's great to be here with you. So what is your business?
My business is called Jai Dee, and my program is called Choose Yourself. And my business, in like the shortest way possible to say it, is I'm an intuitive coach and a catalyst for deep dive healing.
So how do you work with your clients?
It can look a lot of different ways, but ultimately the goal is, or maybe the intention is, to navigate the path of trauma and healing. And I feel like so many of us build walls to protect. It might not look like walls. It might look like different ways. But the idea is to look within and transform those walls into your own light, because that's when healing happens. We spend our life hiding, and at some point that becomes not sustainable anymore. And then our world becomes full of dis-ease and unsettledness and uneasiness and pain. And then we get to this place of defeated and depleted, and we don't remember how to plug in, and we don't look at that. And so it can look like inner child work, trauma work, shadow work. It can look like getting to know yourself. And I say selfish, and so many of my clients buck back at that. They're like, I don't want to be selfish. It's horrible. I'm like, okay, well, maybe we won't use that word then, but let's reframe the meaning. It's about taking care of yourself, because when you're energized and plugged in and healed and you feel whole, I believe we're always whole and there's always healing. So it's like the duality of, yes, you're whole even when you don't feel like it, and kind of you're never healed. You can heal a lot of things one by one or bit by bit or piece by piece, but there's always more to do. So
Right. So anyone who's maybe struggling with understanding, like, why am I here? What am I doing? Kind of purpose work, or really just feeling that pain and uncertainty of life, they would be able to reach out to you and find various ways and tools and modalities to kind of help to create more light and love within.
excited life. Like, does life feel harder than it has to be? Are you stuck in the suck? It's like, let's get unstuck from the suck and move in a place where you can, like, so many people I'm finding don't know what joy is. They don't even know how to experience it. They don't allow it for themselves because they don't understand what it looks like, or they feel they don't deserve it, or there's like a self-love element missing. It shows up in a lot of different ways, like how we guard ourselves, how we protect ourselves, and how we stay safe. And I know that because I was my first client. I had buried traumas and pain points and stuff I'd buried in my brain I didn't even know about. And so then when like that gets discovered and uncovered, it's like, well, now what?
Right. And so many of us just get used to the space that we're living in, that we don't realize that there's a different way of being. And so I've worked with Michelle and had been working with Michelle for 3 years now. And it really is that transition between what's normal, like it's normal at the time, and then you realize that there can be a new normal, and that it can be a much better place to live in.
Yeah, there's comfort in the discomfort because it's known.
Yes.
And then when you get to the other side into yourself, it's beautiful, but the transition between the two is ridiculously painful and uncomfortable. Like, I don't lie about that. I don't sugarcoat it. I'm like, yeah, but here's the thing. You're in a community that is safe. If it feels that way to you, stay. And if it doesn't, then we can work one-on-one or find your own people. Maybe I'm not your person. But I think feeling safe to dig in and heal is a really important thing. And I think my pain is turned into my purpose. And it's why I can hold space for things that I don't feel like I should be able to. It's like those unthinkable things that you go, oh, that's really big. And I can see where that would be really hard to navigate life with that in your pocket or somewhere in your being. And somehow, some way, I mean, that's why I'm grateful for the experiences that I had that were not so great. They are now because they're neutral, they've been transformed, and they are a power place for me to be able to. And I don't mean like power, I'm like powering over things or through things. I mean power like I'm good and my light is brighter than it ever has been, which means transformation is possible. And I just like you evolving over time has been absolutely beautiful, coming in one state and then 3 years later, like, look at you, I see you, and I'm empath and an intuitive. So I see you when you start, and I see that potential and I see where you may go. But it's your path and your journey, and there's a lot of different ways to get there. And it's like, I'm there to be a teacher, mentor, guide, and use my intuitiveness and my empathy to get really accurate. I'm really good at seeing people's strengths and really good at seeing like who you really are, even when you're in your most painful state.
Right. Right. Yeah, it's been a huge transformation. When I first started going to you, it was definitely more locked into fear and uncertainty. And my life, there's still a lot of uncertainty going on within it, but it's coming at it at such a different space where, you know, that fear isn't holding me back. It's more that opportunity for change and the uncertainty is what's kind of driving me forward in a like more positive, joyful, excited way versus a like terrified, now I'm gonna like crumple up and hide in a corner sort of way. So it's not that, you know, my life has gotten any less chaotic or confusing. It's just a different way to approach.
So do you mind if I share something about that? Like something I've observed?
Sure.
I think, well, because the way you talk about fear, right? There's the fear that keeps us stuck and holds us back and freezes us or stops us in some way. And then there's what you've done with your fear is you've completely transformed it. It doesn't go away. We still have fear, but your relationship to fear has changed. Now it's like a pinpoint where you can look at it and say, what is this saying to me? And observe it and ask what it's there for, and then choose to take a step. And it's a mindful step. It's not you being stopped and frozen in something that isn't what it's there for. It's like your relationship spirit. I think people expect, like, I want my traumas to go away. I want my fear to go away. It's like, well, that's not how this works. I don't know how to do that, but I can assist you and guide you and hold space for you and, you know, take you to a place where it all changes. And when it doesn't have that attachment and that pain point with it, and it just becomes part of who you are, and there's an acceptance of that, and even an appreciation, which sounds really weird. If you know my whole story, it's like, it sounds weird to say I appreciate my stuff, but I do. Yeah. And it's gotten me here, and I like who I am, and I didn't used to.
Right.
So there's something about that. And I see that in you as well. And I just think, yes. That's it. That's what life is about.
Right. It is. It's like the fear and uncertainty and all of that isn't going to go away. You're not going to live in a magical bubble where everything just works out perfectly.
Yeah.
But it's how long you let that fear consume you, or how you let that fear consume you. So before I started working with you, there could be one little trigger that I could be consumed for a month. Yeah. Because it was, you know, I said something wrong at a meeting or something. You know, it's normally not something huge, but it's like that could eat away at me for a whole month. And my physical body would be, you know, just tight and stressed out and anxious around that. Whereas now, after doing all the work with you, it's, you know, maybe 20 minutes, maybe a day if it feels, you know, bigger, but it's having that process to work through it instead of letting it consume you. So I can attest. It was a great transformation that you helped me move through. And so what inspired you to open up this business?
Well, my wounds, for sure, and coming through them. But honestly, what started it for me was I was 41 years old, and I walked into a community taking Thai massage training. And that teacher and that community changed my entire life. My entire life. I challenged myself in ways that I didn't understand was possible. She knew how to hold space. She is my main inspiration, and I still lean into her, and she's my teacher, mentor, guide. She's my friend, you know, she's my peer. She's my superior, if you want to look at it that way. She's all of those things. And I'm inspired by her, and I want to show up in a way that is authentic to me. I make it my own, and that's a big thing with clients too. It's like, the reason this practice isn't working for you is because it's not yours. You haven't made it yours yet. You haven't been bold enough and curious enough to take it and make it yours. It doesn't align with you yet, but it can. Mm-hmm. You just got to look at it in a different way. It's her. She just changed my whole world. That whole community they held space from some pretty big things in my life as well.
Right. I think everyone needs that community, those individuals. Yes. Yeah. Community is huge. So like, no matter what you're going through, like if you don't have that community, it can be a real struggle. So that's part of what you offer. So there are one-on-one. For the most part, we've only worked one-on-one, but I know you have so many other kind of group sessions and ways to build community. So what are all of the options that people are utilizing and where you see, some real transformation through.
Yeah. I think I have weekend summits. I do quarterly. They usually have a different theme. They're hybrid, but there's one in the fall that I do that is strictly spiritual. Strictly, I say that. That's not entirely true. It's all deep dive healing, but that we only do in person because we do a lot of hands-on stuff. We make things and do things that it's just, for me, it's too hard to do it hybrid. I either need to do all in person or all online. And then, so that's one group thing. I do group coaching almost every week. I take groups to Thailand. That's a whole community thing that's amazing and transformational in a different way. That's like connecting with my Thai massage teachers and masters. And you're not just going to the street corner Thai massage places. You're going to like people who are working intuitively and true deep healing where you go, what just happened? I'm confused. I feel different. I don't know why. How did that happen? But we put our issues in our tissues. And so physical stuff is important.
Right.
And just amazing food. I do shorter, like half-day sessions. Those are inner child shadow work, trauma healing specifically. And I do just like a free community event that's not really through my business, but just like everybody keeps telling me they're craving community. And I'm like, well, let's create another way to get that done. That's totally free and no obligation to do anything. You don't have to come in. Because like for me, I had trust issues, big ones, where it's like community never felt safe to me ever until I did the work. And so I understand that walking into a community can be really hard. So that's why one-to-ones, community, there's a lot of ways. I do tarot readings at tarot parties. I mean, I used to do everything separate. Like I did Thai massage, I did Reiki, I did tarot, I did, coaching, and then it was all separate. And I was like, this is too exhausting for me and it doesn't feel authentic anymore. I'm going to braid it all together. You get me and my life experiences and skills from the trainings that I've done, and we'll go where we go. And if that feels aligned, cool.
Right. And there's so many different pathways for everyone. And I can imagine every single one of your clients, like they're, start to finish, or, well, there's never really,
there's so many stuff. I mean, that's not to say you have to work with me forever. There's no end to the,
right. And you give people the tools to continue, doing the work on their own every day as well. But no one's path looks the same. So it's really connecting with those individuals and understanding what they need at the time and helping them, get to that transformational point.
It's really interesting. I started in 2011 and I find that everyone's path is unique and they do it in their own way. But the human, like how we show up as humans and how our wounds reveal themselves to us is not that different. And that's been a really great, to connect a lot of dots with that. It really helps me show up in a way where I'm like, oh, I get where this is coming from. I see what's happening within you. Now let's figure out what works for you to move toward you. Let's step into you.
Right.
It's so hard. Yeah. It sounds so easy. Just step into yourself. It's great. It's like, no. We have walls and masks and filters and layers that are there to protect us. And the thing is, we don't realize that we're in a different space. We have different people around us now. We've learned, we've evolved. It is safe to try a different way. And you just need someone and someone's to open a door.
Right.
Because you have the courage to open your own door. Because it's not about, I'm not doing this for you, Sarah. Right. You're 100% doing all this work.
Right. Well, and we all put up the barriers, for important reasons, for valid reasons. And so we need that community to feel safe to take them down and understand them and move past them.
And to explore what's possible. I make this all sound deep and happy. It's it's playful, it's creative, it's inquisitive. It doesn't all have to be holy crap, what just happened? Sometimes there it is, but sometimes it's just let's just observe and play and see what fits.
Right. And I think that's a transition I went through too. Is it always felt like it had to be really big and scary and deep, where it's now, wait, no, it can be fun. It doesn't have to be hard. There's that belief that it has to be hard, and that's something, right? Otherwise, we're not doing it right. Right. So I think we've talked about quite a few, but is there one specific belief or lesson that you wish more people knew about healing work, life, everything?
Consider that everything could change. It might be possible for you. Not that it has to be possible for you, but just consider that it could be. I think we put so much expectations on ourselves to be perfect, to be some kind of way to show up and fit into the room so that we're seen, heard, and loved, you know? Just consider that change is possible and it doesn't have to be horrible. You could change it. It's a good one.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So if someone wants to connect with you and learn more about you, begin working with you, join some of the community events, where would they find you?
ChooseYourself.com is easy. Michelle Aalbers on Facebook, on social media, right? Instagram, Facebook. Jai Dee is my business name, Jaidee. It means kind-hearted in Thai. It's where my journey started. Yeah, reach out. I'm there. Private message, public message, email, whatever works. I'm here, and if you want to dig deep and dive in and looking for support in that, and it seems like I might be a good fit, I'll do a 30-minute virtual. Let's just talk. Let's see if it's a good fit, because I think that's important. Right. I'm not about forcing things into places they don't belong. It's like, no, let's just make sure is this what you really want? Right. Does this feel like a good fit?
Right. Is it the right timing?
And take a chance.
Right.
You know, there's going to be courage required. This is not just like, let's just see if I can feel happy for a moment. This is like, I want to find me, and there's joy in that. Like the exude from the inside out, spun from the inside out.
Right. Right. And so many of us have just gotten used to putting on that mask and showing that we're happy and we're whole.
Yeah.
We're really not.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Well, thank you.
Thank you for sharing.
I appreciate spending time with you always.
Hey, it's Will with the Podcast Crew team. Spotlight is a vidcast shot at the Podcast Crew Studios in Minneapolis. We would love for you to be our guest. Email us at the email address on your screen below to get a copy of the upcoming schedule. It's free, it's easy, and it's a great way to try out a podcast or a vidcast with our pro team. We do an in-person, in-studio version if you're in the Twin Cities area, and also an online version if you're somewhere else. We'd love to have you, hear your story, and help you start your podcast journey. Thanks. Get in touch today.